Hi, friends. Welcome to Race to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite sized wisdom nuggets with easy to follow practices to live a better life. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Today, I want to talk about a buzzword that actually inspires more misunderstanding or confusion than the impact that it's meant to share. And the buzzword is leadership. There's just so many myths about leadership. People think that leadership is for business or only for entrepreneurs or only for Fortune 500 types, right? And leaders are born, they're not made. Beep, incorrect. Anyone can be a leader. And I believe anyone can inspire others into action or growth as a leader. And so leadership can be learned, nurtured, and mastered. You must be thinking, what does leadership like? Hey, Mital, your podcast is all about parenting. How are you like bringing this leadership and entrepreneurship and business and all that? I want to say that parenting is the most challenging leadership role that is out in the world. In fact, I believe parenting is a leadership journey that never ends. The reason I am saying this because I read this book, Leadership 101 by John C. Maxwell, and it inspired me so much and helped me connect the dots of how parenting is a leadership journey and how we can use the Leadership 101 concepts in parenting and how we can inspire our kids in how we can lead our family life. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about leadership in family. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about leadership in family life and parenting and how can we maximize the opportunities that we have with our kids. So the author says in the book that success without leadership is possible, but it's limited. And I thought that kind of hit me home because it all comes down to what it takes to be successful in life. And actually, the author explained it beautifully and articulated beautifully that real success comes from mastering skills in four basic areas of our life. One is relationships, second is self-directed learning, third is our attitude, and fourth is leadership. And he goes even further and he says that it's the last one, it's the leadership that helps multiply the impact of the other three. And so, of course, when it comes to the parent-child relationships or even self-growth and our attitude towards life, right? If we can maximize and master the skill of leadership, we can multiply the impact. We can multiply the impact at home. We can multiply the impact out in the world, right? And so that's why leadership is so important. In general, too, leadership is so important because the traits of leadership actually relates to all the other areas of success, like how we just learned. If you actually even notice that all these successful leaders, they know how to prioritize and they show discipline in getting the job done. They cultivate the trust in others and they do it by reflecting deeply on what's most important. They align their vision and character with their values and they communicate those values clearly and ensure to be proactive. So, in short, getting leadership right can make or break success in other aspects of life. And so, we are going to look into this like how we can master the skill of leadership for our family life and for our kids. So, how can we master the skill of leadership? Like how earlier we said that parenting is a leadership journey that never ends. And no matter where you are on your leadership journey as a parent, a good place to start is understanding the four phases of leadership. Yes, there are four phases of leadership that author mentions in the book. And we're going to look into these four phases one at a time. Again, it's a process and it has four distinct stages. So the first phase is acknowledging that, like everyone else, you don't know what you don't know. As parents, we don't have to know all the answers. And when we don't know the answers, we don't know the answers. So whether you want to grow as a parent or you want to deepen your relationship and improve your relationship with your kids, you can't just know everything from the start. Can't know because again, our kids are gonna go through different phases. We all have the season of parenthood, and so when we don't know, we don't know. And so uncovering our blind spots takes curiosity, soul searching, and research. So we're going to have to go through the process of searching for the answers and looking when we don't know, just look for the answer and just acknowledge that when I don't know, I look for the answer. I ask for answers. And so in this process, you already go to the second phase. And the second phase is that getting to the point where you know what you don't know. Yes, it might sound like a riddle, but it's just understanding that what do I not know? And this may be a phase that you might reach many times along the journey of parenthood. Author says that's a good thing. And so successful leaders are lifelong learners. They learn today to lead tomorrow. And so as parents, how can we ensure that we keep learning? How can we ensure that we make reading, audiobooks, or study like a daily habit? How can we invest in our growth? How can we invest in education? How can we choose education over entertainment, like my coach Jay Shetty would say? And understand that it is an ongoing part of our lives. And so as parents, when we invest in our personal growth, when we invest in our parenthood, no one sat us down and taught us how to parent. And so it is a phase of, I know, a season of our life when we don't know things, we can reach out for help. We can listen to podcasts like this one. We can take classes. We can invest in our growth. Like maybe you want to work through anger, so work through how to transform your anger, right? Maybe you need support of parents where you don't want to feel alone anymore, then reach out and look into membership. So I'm going to take a moment and share that I recently launched the Parenting Lab membership where you learn how to talk so your kids will listen and listen so your kids will talk. It is a place where we go from correcting to connecting. It's a place where we go from overwhelm, burnout to feeling epic, where we feel to empowered to help our kids navigate through the struggles and where we empower ourselves to go through and work through the power struggles with our kids. We empower ourselves to, instead of blaming and shaming our kids, to making our kids feel seen, heard, and understood. So if you're looking for that space, tap in the link in the show notes. Join our monthly membership. It's called The Parenting Lab, where you will be getting new workshops every month. You will be learning new strategies, new skills, and invest in your growth. Grow as parents and at the same time grow as an individual who you are. Connect with yourself, connect with your kids. So if you're looking for that space, then my friend, the Parenting Lab is your space. So again, invest in yourself. And while you do this, know that the phase 3 will take care of itself. So let's look into the phase 3. Phase 3 is about trusting that as you grow, the effects will show. We have to have that patience. We have to be patient with ourselves. And that's going to be the key to this phase. And it might help to know that no one becomes a great leader overnight. Like, no one. Forget about us parents, but, not even these successful entrepreneurs or successful business leaders. There's no overnight success. Even the ones who are like born with natural gifts, they also have to work at it. And so, though it might feel like it's hard and it's strange at first to invest in our growth as parents, just go for it. Trust the process. Cultivate the self discipline and perseverance to keep at it every day. And it's going to pay off, not only do the benefits compound over time, but we'll also see that you'll be able to develop trust in yourself, in your abilities. You'll believe in yourself. You start believing in yourself. And so when you believe in yourself, your kids are seeing, right? They will imitate, they will learn to believe in themselves as well. And this brings us to phase 4. And the final phase is when everything just comes together. It just becomes a whole, and leadership starts to come naturally. I'll remind you that don't expect this to happen overnight. It takes daily practice. And the good news here is that no matter where you are at now, your leadership development is an ongoing process and you can reach out for help. Ask any effective leader in your life. You'll more than likely find out that they rely on a self development plan to maintain and grow their skills. So, again, invest in your growth, invest in learning new skills, ask for help, reaching out. Asking for help is a strength. So, my friend, again, I'm going to offer the Parenting Lab is a space where you'll be able to invest in your growth and at the same time grow parallel, help your kids learn the same and develop the skills. One of my favorite affirmation to practice with my little one at the moment, my kids, my older one actually is already on it, but my little one, I have started practicing with him, and I tell him, and he affirms it daily that I am a leader, right? My older one is just so much into reading, and he just says, today's reader is tomorrow's leader. He, in fact, wrote that quote last year when he graduated from his elementary school. And so, again, my friends, our kids are watching us, so invest in our growth and remind yourself that we are the leaders of our family life. And so let's become the CEO of our family life. Let's showcase our kids what it's like to invest in our growth, what it's like to accept ourselves, what it's like to trust ourselves, what it's like to influence our peers and influence our surrounding, what it's like to, because that's what leaders do, right? Leaders don't force the growth. Instead, they facilitate the growth by influencing. Influence is their power skill. Again, I'll remind you the most important thing to remember is that leadership is a process, and over time, it can transform every aspect of our life, whether it's our parent child relationship, whether it's our marriage, whether it's our career, whether it's our relationship with our parents, whether it's just relationship with ourselves. Like all the relationship in our life will be transformed when we focus on this one skill. And unfolding in these 4 phases, leadership demands consistent discipline, personal reflection, prioritization, character development, and a lifelong commitment to learning. But the benefits multiply with time. With enough perseverance, forget about changing the world. Focus on changing your kids' inner world, right? Because our children are tomorrow's leader, right? I always say that our kids are tomorrow's leaders. So, in order for us to influence them, we're going to have to focus on our growth. We can change the world, they can change the world. And so, ultimately, the measure of leadership is in the influence, persuading others to follow and to take up their own leadership journey, like how we can influence our kids, right? And so, my friend, I highly recommend whenever you're ready, tap into our show note, join our monthly membership. It is called The Parenting Lab, where we will learn new strategies, new tools every month to implement on a regular basis and see what works for our family, because I am a firm believer there's no one size fits solution. So what works for my family and me might not work for you and your family. And that's why I will be sharing lots of new, lots of different strategies and tips that you can try and practice with your kids and see what works for your family life. And then create a vision for your family, because again, leadership doesn't work without a vision. Leadership doesn't work without a value. So these are the things that we will be looking into in the Parenting Lab. So join me and other fellow parents, and let's invest in our lifelong learning and master the skill of leadership so we can lead our family life. That's it for this week's episode of Race to Rise. Be sure to sign up to our email list at risewithmittal.com and join us again next time for more wisdom about life, kids, and everything in between. I am Mittal Patel, wishing you happy raising and rising.